Like, hey, something is wrong. Something is wrong.
You know those moments you're like questioning, like, how is it possible that these were the people that raised you? These were the people that like taught you all these things, you know? You know?
Yeah.
Those moments you're like, how is that possible? You know? It's not a very wonderful moment for me personally.
No.
And I need to make it very clear, okay? I think the point is not like questioning if our parents loved us. That is not the point. Because I noticed you're like actually talking about abuse, even to the extent that you're already a grown up and you're still facing that abuse. And from my own point of view, I'm like, more focused on like the abuse I went through as a child. What it was like for me.
Everybody has a stage. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Everybody has a stage.
And you're like, how is that possible? Because it's not about questioning if they loved you. They loved you. But the problem is like, this was the love they know. This is what they learned about love. That's how you show someone that you love them. That's how you show your child that you love them. And then that was why before we started, like I already said, I was more focused on like, is it training or is it abuse? Because somewhere in their mind, I'm definitely sure majority of the parents, okay, they feel like it's training. I'm trying to make you a better human being. And then how do you say it now? They turn those kids into monsters without knowing.
Yeah.
And those monsters are just like going around hurting other people without even knowing they're hurting other people, because you just give it out. Because for you, it's like status quo. It's like the standard. You know? And that's why I was like, I think I need to mention it that I know the love was there. But the question is, was that actually the best type of love you have? Or is it just what you learned and you felt it was good? What do you think? That's just like my feeling about it. What do you think?
You know, coming from an African home, of course I'm African, coming from Nigerian home, where religion is like anything more than number one.
Mbido, number one.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And coming from a home where why you were being chastised was not because you didn't do well or maybe you stole, why you were being beaten, why you were being abused verbally and cursed was because you attended church, but you attended church late. I don't know if you grasp my meaning.
I understand what you're saying.
Not that don't be saying you don't go church. You go to church, but you can't go to church because you come like 10 minutes late. You know, and then you ask yourself like, you know, and then these kids grow up and they see church and they're like, they're running tiki-taka. There's church here, but that's their direction. And then you come out from Nigeria, you come to this country and you be like, I used to tell people, when you come abroad, your prayer points, it go change. You see that one, you pray, Father God, witchcraft. Here, you start praying on how you're going to, how will I make this? How do I move forward? Like, your prayer points start changing. Back at home, you only pray for things that you realize are supposed to be the basics. They're supposed to be the norm.
Yeah.
You know? And you come from a home where Christianity or maybe whatever religion you have, Muslim, whatever it is, that it is number one in your life. Instead of training that child to be a responsible child and adult into the society, like train them to be well-mannered, to be financially dependent, to be, economically there to be able to stand for themselves. But no, they train you on the fact that, hey, when one sister in the church be like, now princess wore short skirts to church, your mommy comes home, tears your skirt, right? Flog you on top of it, and they'll flog you extra for coming to church late. Or that kind of beating they will beat you. They will not beat you today when that thing happens. She will come into the room like 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. Hello, princess, wake up. Then they now preach the Bible to you.
Afterwards,
that kind of stuff, like
Proverbs.
When they finish, I'm telling you Proverbs. When
Proverbs.
they finish telling you Proverbs and Psalm, then they flog you on top of it, and then you ask yourself, so where am I supposed to start forgiving? And then you start getting these things into your body, and you start asking yourself, what am I gaining from here? Like, what am I doing? You go to that church. only for the fear
Yeah.
of what your parents are going to do to you.
Exactly.
Not for the fear of God.
Exactly.
Not for the love of God. Like I have some friends here who they go to church naturally because they love it. I go to church and I see young people going there with all their hearts, like, and I'm powerful. You know, when you are feeling like, wow, I am in the presence of people who came here on their own accord. They were not pushed by their parents. I mean, here in the university, you go to the church, it's filled up with students, and you still ask yourself, hey, you thought that all the students are in the club, right? But no, some people love God.
Yeah.
And they do it just from their self alone. You know, and you are so happy to be in the presence of God because you want to, not because you're forced to.
Yeah.
And it's just so bad that, you know, it is limited. I don't know how I'm going to say it, but you keep talking, as you were saying that it's an ego. You said something, ego of the parents. Yeah, it's ego of the parents, because they'll be like, this Mama Nkechi would come and say, hey, all my children are in the church today. Mama Princess, your children, what are they now? Could be like, then they'll start comparing you to other people's children. I remember one time I was grown, I was grown, and my mom was telling me, yeah, look at Jumoke. Jumoke is doing this and that, and I'm like, oh, Jumoke came ma. Okay, ma. The one man, she, Brother Silas.
Exactly.
Brother Timothy.
Yeah.
She's following all of them. Like, but when they come to church, they wear that skirt and that scarf, and then you think that, wow. And everybody sees her and be quiet. They're like, wow. Princess, come and be like her. Nah? And I'm like, I don't want to be like this person because I know who she is.
Yeah.
She comes to the church with somebody else, but when she's outside, wow. You need to hear what the guys are saying. Right? And, this comparison between one child and the other, it brings the children so down. I remember when I came, and they would start and say, "Hey, Akimana nda born." You know, he's now in America. He has built this house.
Yeah.
He has built that one. And I said, yeah. I would just keep quiet. When they finished talking, I would keep quiet, and then they would call like that again. They would call like that again until one day I said, stop it. I don't want to be like them. I don't know how they made their money, but I'm here now. I'm not a prostitute. I am not stealing. I am making it just with my hard work. And that's all. And that's all you're going to get from me. If you want me to mad this,
Yeah.
you should just count me out.
Yeah.
Count me out. Let me go little by little. You will not abuse me, because it's an abuse. Comparison and trying to put that child into a shoes that you know definitely well she or he cannot fit in. And I refuse that. I had to refuse it because I've already realized, or at that time, I had realized that there was something wrong. And listening to these people and trying to make it when you know definitely well that you cannot make it, you know. And I mean, not. I don't mean in the sense of not make it in life, but you cannot fit into that shoes they want you to fit into at that time. And I said no. And good enough, they stopped it.
I remember telling, I think it was a colleague about my childhood. It doesn't mean that my childhood was bad, but I remember there was some part of my childhood I told the colleague, and she was at the end of the day. How is it possible you turned out to be who you are today? It's not like as if I've gotten where I want to get in life. I'm still on the road. I'm still climbing the ladders of life.
Yeah.
And I was like, at that moment, I had to reflect on how I needed to work on myself. You know what I mean? Because there was a moment in my life whereby I doubted everything I'm doing. You know what I'm trying to say now? Because you are being compared to every other person every time, and that means you're not actually doing great. And that means even when you are doing great, you don't actually believe that you're doing great. You think you're the worst of the worst. That's what I was talking about. It's not always violence, sometimes also emotional. Then at that moment I realized I have some issues. I needed to work on myself. I needed to look at myself and be like, actually I'm good at this and this and this, and they actually believe I'm good at it, and I do it good. And imagine how many years it took me to get over that stuff. but it was something that was done with like the good intention. I know some people will be like, yeah, they meant it good, it's the right way, and blah 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 blah, every other thing, but it was also done with the right intention. Hey, Africa was colonized with the right intention. Hey, there was slavery in the world with the right intentions, but the right intention doesn't mean the outcome is right. And that moment whereby you can't even question it, you can't even question the abuse going on, because like we already mentioned, it's like religion, and religion has taken over this part of our culture, about our tradition, whereby you can't question it. Some words, some statements coming from unknown power, unseen powers, whereby you can't question it. I'm not questioning the religion, I'm not questioning the existence of God, but does that mean you should close your eyes and not, reflect on what you're doing critically? I'll tell you a story. There was a guy, I knew him when I was still at home. Now, when I travel back home, last time he already has his family. So he made a comment to me. He told me, he felt abused by his parents, specifically speaking, his father. He told me he will not do it to his children. So for that reason, he doesn't beat his children unnecessarily. He doesn't shout at them. He tries to encourage them. He works so hard to train these kids. Along the story, he told me, okay, I've touched my son once. I was like, when? He was like, yeah, we were praying in the morning and he was sleeping. And I had to beat him to tell him, you're in the presence of God. You can't be sleeping at this moment. You have to honor God. At that moment, I told him, do you know you're repeating almost the same thing? Imagine, your son was awake till 10 o'clock. As a young man, as a young boy, he needs at least 8 hours sleep for him to be fit the next day. So let's imagine now he was awake till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I don't know the reasons, okay? And you wake him up by 5 or 6. That's okay. He has to go to school. And you are angry that he's sleeping. And you're not even angry that he's sleeping, because you didn't get enough rest. Why didn't you go to bed yesterday night? Now you are taking the position of God, telling him how God will be angry because he didn't get enough rest. So I felt like you can't be serious. And that's how we repeat it. Or, I'm sure that my great-grandfathers did it. Exactly. They did it for other reasons. I'm sure that my grandfather did it for other reasons. My father is doing it for another reason. If I'm not careful, I'll do it for other reasons. There is always a reason for that abuse.
Yes.
And nobody's questioning like, why? And most of the time, I think it starts all about with religion. You're not honoring God and so on and so forth. And we're like taking that position of God, trying to know what God wants, who God,